Hi everybody, this is Diana from So Very Crafty, and we are here today to make a simple charging cord travel case. And this project is a simple beginner project that anyone can make to travel with their charging cords. Your Kindle cord, your iPhone cord, whatever cord you need, iPad, iPhone, Android phone, whatever you need will fit perfectly into this little pouch. It has a zipper pouch for USB plugs, whatever other sundry techie things that you need, you can put into this zipper pouch. And it also has a little slip pocket for whatever else you need. And it folds up just perfectly. And all you need to do is wrap this closure around a button and it stays nice and closed while you're on your vacation. So that's our project for today. I hope you enjoy it. It's a simple one. If you do like it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Ding that bell for notifications for future So Very Crafty projects. And head over to www.soverycrafty.com if you want to see more sewing and crafting tutorials that you don't see here on the YouTube channel. I assure you, those projects are a little more on the intermediate side than on the beginner side that you see here on So Very Crafty. But they're fun too, and always something that you can use. So for now, let's get started on this charging cord travel case. Okay, so how do we make this terrific charging cord travel case? This is super simple because we have a pattern, and I will put this pattern in the description section of the video where it says see more. And all you have to do is cut out this pattern. And there are 2 pages to this pattern, and there are some little diamonds on here, or little half diamonds. What you're going to do is you're going to match up those diamonds and tape the pattern across the middle there so that you have a complete pattern piece. Once you've done that, you are going to cut out, and I've already done this, an outer piece of fabric, a lining piece of fabric, and a piece of fusible fleece that measures the entire length of this pattern piece. Once you have done that, you're going to see that there is a section that says text storage bottom, and we are going to cut the text storage bottom part of this pattern off at this point. And we're going to use this for a zipper pocket that we are going to make using our outer piece and our lining piece. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to put some extra pieces that I had left over from when I cut out my long pieces, and I'm just going to fold them in half so that I have 4 layers here, because it's going to make cutting this out a lot easier for me. So I have 4 layers of fabric that are the same width as my pattern piece, my new small pattern piece. And really all I need to do is cut across this using my rotary cutter and ruler. Right along this straight line. just like that. And these 4 pieces are actually going to be a zipper pouch at the bottom of our little cord carrier. The other thing that we need is we need about 31 inches of 1/2 inch elastic that we're going to cut in 2 to make 15.5 inch pieces. The final thing that we need is a zipper that measures about 9 inches. Now I realize that this zipper is much longer than 9 inches, but we're going to shorten it anyway. And I happen to have this zipper on hand, and it matched my fabric, so I decided to use this one. But 9 inches that you're going to shorten anyway is going to work fine for this project. And you're going to need a button, and I chose this little heart finding button that I'm going to use for my project today. The last and final thing that you need for your project is a piece of lining fabric, and this purple is my lining fabric today, that measures 2 inches by 5 inches. So I'm just going to cut 2 inches by 5 inches. And this is going to be for the closure for our travel case. And I'm just using my cutting mat to measure this out. It doesn't have to be exact. And that's all we need for this project. Now I will put all of these measurements down in the description section, so you don't need to write them down now. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to take our outer fabric piece and we are going to fuse our fusible fleece to our outer fabric piece using a hot iron. And I'm just going to take care of that right now. I'm not going to do it on the video. All you have to do is follow the manufacturer's instructions and make sure that you use the bumpy side of the fusible fleece and not the soft side against the wrong side of your fabric, because those bumps are actually glue that will fuse into your fabric so that you can make this into one piece of fabric instead of 2. So I'm going to head over to the iron right now, and I'm just going to iron this and fuse this fleece with my outer piece. Now I'm back, and you can see that I have fused my fleece to my outer fabric, and for now I'm just going to set this aside. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my little zipper pouch here, and if you've never created a zipper pouch, it is a very simple process. And this is made even simpler because we're not going to sew up the sides or the bottom, we're just going to add the zipper. So what we're going to do in order to make this super simple zipper pocket is we are going to lay our outer fabric piece right sides up on our workstation, and we're going to place our zipper right sides down. And for now, it doesn't matter where your zipper pull is because we're going to move it later. And then we're going to take a piece of our lining fabric and we're going to place it right on top. So we have a zipper sandwich. Now I'm going to take just a few pins and just pin this zipper to these 2 pieces of fabric so that all the raw edges are aligned. Now if you're a beginner sewist, you may want to use more pins than I'm using here, or if you're a more advanced sewist, you may not need any pins at all because this is a small little zipper pouch. So now we're going to head over to the sewing machine, and we are just going to stitch this zipper to these 2 layers of fabric so that we can finish up our zipper pouch. And we will head over there now, and I will show you how to do that. Okay, here we are at the sewing machine, and normally I would use a zipper foot for this, but I routinely have my 1/4 inch foot on my machine, so I'm just going to use my 1/4 inch foot to stitch this zipper down. Make sure that when you're stitching that you're pulling out these pins. And that's all there is to it. And we've stitched at least half of our zipper to our little zipper pouch. Now I'm going to press this real quick, and then we're going to lay a little top stitch right across here so that our zipper does not get caught in the lining when we're opening and closing it. Now I'm just going to top stitch this right along the edge. Just like that. Perfect. Now we are back at our workstation, and we have 1/2 of our zipper finished. And now we need to just do the other half of our zipper. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. We are going to place our outer fabric right sides up. We're going to place our zipper right sides down, making sure that all of these raw edges are aligned on the sides. The bottoms will not line up, but the sides will. And then we're going to place our final lining piece right sides down on top of our zipper. And we'll just add a couple of pins here to keep this in place. We're going to head back over to the sewing machine, and we're going to do exactly the same thing we did for the first half of our zipper pouch. Just stitch along here and top stitch the zipper when we're done. I'm not going to show you that on the video because we've already done it. So let me go and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we have our zipper stitched just the way we want it. And we're going to set this aside for now and move on to our next step. Okay, so now we are going to take our main lining piece and we're going to attach our elastic. The best thing for us to do is to take our pattern piece and just lay it right here so we know where our elastic should go. And our elastic should go right here, and I'm just going to pin this. And our other piece of elastic should go right here. And we're just going to pin that. Now we need to make sure that our elastic pieces are straight, and we can do that by lining them up on our cutting mat, or we can use our pattern piece at the bottom as well. I find that using my cutting mat is a little bit easier. Now, our elastic is pretty straight there. Now what we need to do is we need to divide our elastic into segments so that we can put our cords in between these segments. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to measure up from the top, or measure down from the top. I'm going to make this my top, about 2 1/4 inches. And I'm going to place a pin at the 2 1/4 inch mark. And every 2 1/4 inches, I am going to place a mark, because we are going to stitch widthwise across this elastic to hold it in place. And it will create these dividers so that our cords can go in between them. Now once we get towards the bottom here, we can take our zipper pouch and place it right here, and we don't really need to stitch any more down to the bottom unless you want to. You will need to stitch the bottom though, otherwise it will just flap in the wind. So what we're going to do is we are going to stitch right across these 2 1/4 inch marks and along the bottom here and the top, so that we have our dividers for our cords. And we're going to do that on both sides. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to stitch some stitches right across this elastic on both sides, 2 1/4 inches from the top all the way down, until I meet what is going to be my zipper pocket on the bottom. And I'm going to stitch the bottom as well. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine. I'm going to take care of that. I'm not going to do it on the video because they're just little stitches right across this elastic. And keep an eye and make sure that your elastic stays straight. Okay, so now we have stitched our elastic, and you can see that there is dividers here that we can place our cords in. The next thing we're going to do is add our zipper pouch. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to add it to the bottom. Matching the raw edges. And we're going to have the zipper facing the top, towards the top. And I'm just going to pin these layers together so that they don't move. Now, the next thing that's important about our zipper pouch is we need to open up our zipper and put our zipper pull in the middle. Otherwise, we will have sewn it and we will not have a way to open up our zipper. So we're just going to open up our zipper a little ways. And we're going to head over to the sewing machine, and we are going to stitch all along the side, the bottom, and the other side to stitch this zipper pouch in place. And what you will notice is there is another little pocket inside here for you to put whatever you want to put in. So we have a zipper pouch and a pocket here for our sundries that go along with our little tech pouch that we're making here today. So let's head over to the sewing machine and let's stitch all the way around here, and let's move on to our next step. Now we have our zipper pouch in place, and the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to take our outer piece that we fused the fleece on, and we're going to place it right sides together with our lining piece that has all of our pieces in there. And we're just going to pin a few pins to hold this together and make sure that these raw edges are aligned. Now, if you're a beginner sewist, you may want to use more pins than what I'm using here. It's completely up to you how many pins you're using, but this is a fairly simple sew because you're just going to sew a rectangle. So I only need a few pins, but you may want more if it makes you feel more comfortable. Now I'm just going to go back over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch all the way around this tech pouch that we're making today, but I'm going to leave an opening over here on the side so that we can turn this right sides out. So let's head over to the sewing machine and let's stitch from here all the way around to here, using about a 3/8 inch seam allowance today, so that we can enclose all these raw edges and make our pouch look nice and pretty. So let's head over to the sewing machine and take care of that. Okay, now we have stitched our pouch all the way around. Now we're going to take our scissors and we're going to trim off this excess zipper on both sides because we don't need that anymore. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clip my corners right along the corner, making sure that I don't clip through the stitching. Otherwise we'll have a hole in our corner and we don't want that. Okay, I just realized that I forgot to put the closure into this bag. So let's make the closure, and I apologize for that. Let's make the closure for this bag and insert it into the top of our bag before we finish it up. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take our 2" by 5" piece of fabric, and we're going to fold the raw edges, the long raw edges, to the center, and then we're going to fold it in half lengthwise. We're going to press it with a hot iron, and then we're going to stitch along both sides of this closure piece, and we're going to insert it into our bag, and I'll show you how to do that. Now I've created my closure here, and you can see what that looks like. Now what I should have done is folded this in half like that and just tacked it on the top part of our lining piece, but I forgot to do that, so I'm just going to stick it in between these two layers here in the center. And stitch across the top. Okay, so now you can see I've added my closure to the top of this bag in the center. And before I close this up, I'm actually going to add my button. And I'm going to measure from the bottom on the right side of the outer fabric about 5 inches. And I'm going to stitch my button right there. So I can use my project here, stitch this button right on. I don't want to put a few stitches in this because it's going to be a lot of wear and tear. I noticed from the previous one I made, I use all the time, that my button is kind of loose, so I really need to add more stitches to this one, so that button stays nice and tight to keep my cords in there where they need to be. There's our button, and now we'll just close this opening using ladder stitch. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do ladder stitch today. I was going to, but this purple thread and this purple bag, it's not going to show up. But there are loads of videos on YouTube on how to do ladder stitch. Once you're finished, all you need to do is take your charging cords, fold them up, and put them in between the compartments that you made. Roll this up. I suppose I could do a better job of folding this up, but roll this up and fold down the closure. And you have finished your project today. So that's all there is to it. This is a super simple way to travel with all of your charging cords that you need for your phone, for your Kindle, for your iPad, whatever it is that you need to charge. This is the perfect project for that. And it's so simple to make. It doesn't take very long to do. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this project. It's a simple one, just like all of the projects here at So Very Crafty. And if you liked it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and ding that bell for notifications so that you can get notified of future So Very Crafty videos as they come out. And if you want more sewing and crafting tutorials that aren't on the YouTube channel, head over to www.soverycrafty.com and you'll find tons of videos or tons of projects that you won't see here on the YouTube channel that are more for the intermediate sewist than the beginner sewist like you see here on the channel. So that's it for today. I will see you all next time. Bye.